Hey, it's your boy Kai, and welcome to Kai Watches Gilmore Girls, the show where I watch every episode of Gilmore Girls and I document my entire experience while doing it. I am up to season 5. I am starting season 5 right now, which is crazy to think about. I started this journey back in October, November, around then. It is now May. I am up to season 5, and boy, oh boy, it has been quite the journey so far, and I'm so excited that you are here along for the ride because today I'm going to be recapping the first episode of season 5 after that incredible season 4 finale. I have now moved on to season 5. Super duper excited about that. Friends, if you are enjoying what you're watching today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't think you'll regret it. You'll be the first to see all of the Gilmore Girls related things. I watch a lot of TV. I recap a lot of TV and movies. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and you will be the first to see it before I even post it on TikTok, Instagram, wherever it may be. You're going to see it here first. Speaking of, if you like Gilmore Girls and you want some Gilmore Girls merchandise, you can visit my website, thevibewithkai.com, and click on merchandise. And you're going to see shirts and bags and coats and sweaters. Whatever it is that you want, it is there. Just visit my website, thevibewithkai.com. You'll see your Gilmore Girls merchandise. It has all of your favorite quotes, so you can carry it around for the rest of your life, and you'll never forget about it. And you'll never forget about me. Also, speaking of never forgetting about me, you can follow me on all of your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be. Follow me at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that will help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My friends, let's get right to it. Season 5, Episode 1, Say Goodbye to Daisy Miller. This opening scene here was incredibly cringe for me. Good Lord. I understand that, like, what's happening and the reasoning behind it, but good Lord, it was so cringe and it made me shiver. I hated every second of it. First and foremost, Rory, this is a married man that you are sitting here listening to Willy Wonka with right now, and it makes me feel so uncomfortable. And by the way, the song, the zing about the boom, like, no. That should not be your song. Like, I get the reason why, because if I'm not mistaken, that was the movie, or I guess that they listened to on their first date. Whatever it may be, I don't care. This is a very cringe situation. I feel like I'm watching my daughter right now because we've watched Rory grow up, and this is just really awkward and weird. And Dean, once again, is a married man, and it makes me feel so weird on the inside. And then you got Creeper Dean here. We got some Creeper Dean listening in on the conversation between Rory and Lorelai that's taking place here. Do you feel bad, buddy? You should. Once again, you're a married man, and your wife is at home trying to make sure that your favorite meat, your favorite meatloaf, whatever it is, she's making sure that it's perfect for you. She got some brownies at home for you. And you're sitting here gallivanting with Rory, getting biblical with Rory. How dare you, sir? I like the scene between Richard and Emily. I like this scene because they kind of took their separation to another level here, right? Because they get into this argument. Emily ends up getting locked into the basement. Now, for a second, I thought that Richard purposefully locked her down there, and I was like, "Ooh, that is a flex. It's a weird flex, but okay, you're gonna lock. That's borderline abusive. Like, good Lord, you should not do that." But I guess it was by accident, which is perfectly okay. Well, not perfectly, but it was explained. However, Emily ends up climbing out the window, and she ends up taking off her pants so she can easily climb out the window, and her and Richard are still arguing. And I guess one of their neighbors called and was like, "Oh, there's some shit going down over at the Gilmore house right now." So the neighborhood watch shows up. Emily has no pants on. Richard's in his feels right now. The guy comes up to them and is like, "What is going on right now?" Then they're like, "We are having some issues." And that's what ends up happening here. I thought it was really funny. Speaking of really funny, look at Mr. Kirk here, who is suffering from his night terrors. He was sleeping with Lulu, and he has his night terrors, and he comes running out of the inn just as Luke and Lorelai were starting to get a little kissy-wissy with each other. He comes running out butt-ass naked, comes running out, ruining that moment, but I guess it is what it is. And he ends up falling butt first into a bunch of thorns in town, and I'm sure that did not feel good. And now he is in the inn, recovering on the couch. Thank God for Luke for capturing him and preventing him from injuring himself even more. Oh boy, this scene was rough. Boy, there's a lot to digest in this scene. First and foremost, Dean, buddy. See, here's the hard part. I have a lot of friends, both male and female, that do exactly what Dean did in this scene. In this scene, Dean gets super duper defensive, right? Why does he get defensive? Because he's cheating, right? And when cheaters are on the cusp of getting caught, they get defensive. And they get defensive because they're planting the seed to sort of lay the blame on the person that they're cheating on, right? So that if at some point they might be able to lay the blame on that person. That's what's happening. That is what's happening to Dean right now. Dean is cheating, and poor Lindsay is just sitting here being like, "My mommy brought me some brownies. You want a brownie?" And he's like, "Why'd you pick up the phone? Why'd you pick up the phone? What if that was my boss? You didn't take a message?" You know damn well that Dean did not want Lindsay to pick up that phone, number one. Number two, take a message. Because guess who was calling? It was Rory, the same person that you got biblical with. So what is Dean doing here? He is getting defensive because his ass almost got caught. Could you imagine if Rory was like, "Oh hey, it's me, Rory. So definitely just did it with your husband. Have a good night with those brownies." That's exactly what happened here. Poor Lindsay has done nothing wrong in this situation. Though I do feel this is a little reverse writing wise about these characters. So like feelings about what Dean did aside, right? Let's just talk about this from a storytelling and a writing standpoint. What bothered me a little bit here is that last season they painted Lindsay to kind of be this certain person that was kind of controlling Dean's life and wanted Dean to, adhere to the things that she wanted, right? We kind of get the opposite of that here. Same thing with Dean. Dean has always kind of had this like not hot temper, but he's always been a person to speak out, right? When he's not happy, right? And while he has, shown glimpses, like small glimpses of him getting a little upset, this was to me a little uncharacteristic of him based on season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Kai, there were times when Rory did this and he did this and blah, blah, blah. And I totally get it. I'm just saying, from my personal standpoint, I think it's a little uncharacteristic of him to flip out the way that he did. Now, before you say, "Oh, but Kai, he yelled at Rory when she didn't say I love you back, and he yelled at Rory when they were trying to make plans," that was different. To me, at least, that was different. So I get what you're saying. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. You're not supposed to, feel this way. I will never say that. I think that everything that you feel about Dean is legitimate, whether you like him or you don't. I'm not going to sit here and say anybody that thinks that Dean is toxic is wrong. Anybody that thinks that Dean isn't toxic is right. I'm not going to sit here and do that. I'm just going to say that it just, from a storytelling standpoint, I thought it was a little bit of a switch. However, it was wrong. It was wrong for that character to yell at Lindsay the way that he did. But of course, he was getting defensive, and that's when you're cheating and when you don't want to be the bad guy in the situation, but you definitely are. That's what you do. Michelle in this situation is what all of us wanted to do and say whenever we, like, anybody that's worked in the customer service industry, damn well that the way that Michelle treated Mr. Taylor here, we've all wanted to do and say that to customers that have come into our stores. Right now, I don't work in customer service anymore, but when I did, good Lord, I wish I could pull the vibe that Michelle pulled on Taylor in this episode. Good Lord. If you're a customer service representative, whether you were or you still work in that industry to this day, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a vibe. I love this scene because, so the one thing that I skipped over in the beginning is that Kirk told Suki that he saw Luke and Lorelai kissing. Suki confronted Luke and said, "Hey, were y'all kissing?" And Luke was like, "Yeah, I was kissing, but don't tell Lorelai because I don't know if she actually wants this or not," right? So Suki is like, "Okay, I won't tell Lorelai. I'm not gonna tell her." But what does Suki do? She, of course, goes to tell Lorelai because they're best friends, and that's what best friends do, right? So Suki confirms with Lorelai that this was something that happened. And my favorite part is this: after everything's confirmed, after Suki's like, "Yeah, this is meant to be," what's the first thing that Suki asks? She's like, "Did you get it on? Did he hit it?" And Lorelai was like, "No," and she's like, and Suki was like, "I mean, do you want it?" And Lorelai was like, "I mean, yeah." I love that so much. I don't like when Lorelai and Rory fight. I mean, I get why they're fighting. I get why. It just bothers me. It just bothers me. They're not on good terms right now because Lorelai confronted Rory about having sex with a married man, and she doesn't want Rory to go down that path. And Rory's like, "I'm a grown ass woman. I can do what I want, and Dean loves me." And it's just like the power dynamic here is real, and I think it's real. Like this scene, while frustrating as a viewer who's rooting for both of these characters, it's a good dynamic between these two. So I enjoyed that. Speaking of high school lovers, these two right here, good lord, they are adorbs. I ship this. I ship this 100%. First and foremost, they're both in their closets, hiding away from the work that they should actually be doing. Second of all, let's talk about Luke. Luke is on his core dead phone, so he has a core dead phone because it's hooked up to the main like area of his kitchen of his diner, right? And it was loud out there, so he brings his corded phone all the way to the back. How long is this cord? 4 miles? I'm old enough to remember corded phones. I'm old enough to remember this. Um, I don't think my cords went that long. They were long, but they weren't this long. So good for him for having a cord long enough to have a full-on conversation with Lorelai in the peace and quiet, where they're like, "I like you. I think I like you too." Speaking of corded phones, this episode was filmed, I think, in like 2005, 2006. At the time, I was about to enter college, and I don't remember payphones being a thing even in like 2005, 2006. But apparently, in Stars Hollow, 2005, 2006, they're still rocking payphones, and Rory is using them. Can we get some cell phones up in this piece? I mean, we need to get some cell phones. It's about that time. It's about that time. I just wanted to point that out. This is a good time to remind I can't talk. This is a good time to remind you that if you're enjoying what you're watching today, you can hit that subscribe button and follow me on YouTube, and you will be the first to see and get notified whenever I post something right here on this channel. Oh boy, Dean and Rory. So Rory invites Dean to have a chat. Of course, they do it at Miss Patty's for some reason. I'm like, why would you have this chat at Miss Patty's? If Miss Patty just happened to walk in and see what's happening, this news would be all over town because we all know that Miss Patty is the one woman TMZ network within that town. So the last place that I would want to be is anywhere where Miss Patty might just remotely, even accidentally, purposely show up. But anyway, Rory invites Dean over to have a conversation, and she's like, "Okay, I want to have a talk. We need to talk about him being married, blah 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 blah." Right? Dean shows up looking all like, "Hey, I'm Dean," and then they end up having the sexual intercourse again at Miss Patty's. You little hussy, you little hussy, hanging out with this f boy over here. It's funny. It's funny. It makes me laugh. We all need a lane in our life. We all need a Lane in our life. Am I wrong here? I don't think I'm wrong. We all need a Lane in our life. Lane did such a really good job at this situation, just taking in, this dramatic situation and giving actually sound advice. Rory had asked her, "What should I do?" And Lane was like, "You should talk to your mom about this." And Rory, being the stubborn person she is, like, "No, I'm not going to talk to her." But Lane was right. Rory needs to go talk to Lorelai and just admit that she's wrong here and that she made a mistake and listen to her mom. That's just me and Lane. I think that like Lane has been the ride or die for Rory nonstop. Lane has climbed my rankings. She's right now. She's for the past like season or so. Lane has been my second favorite character in the show, behind Luke. Right? there's a chance, depending on which direction this show goes in, there is a chance that Lane could become my favorite character in the show. There is a chance. I guess we'll see. I don't know. Oh, shout out to Lindsay. Lindsay went to the butcher and was like, I need to make the perfect m- meatloaf, whatever it was. I needed to make the perfect thing for Dean. It needs to be perfect. I tried to make it last time. It didn't work out. I messed it up, and Dean probably didn't like it. My marriage is on the rocks, and I feel like it's my fault, even though it's not her fault. And we know that as the viewer. But she feels like she's doing something wrong. So she needs to fix things on her end to make sure that Dean is happy. So she goes all out to make sure that the meat is exactly the way that Dean wants it cooked. She even has the butcher write it down because she wants to get it perfect. Now, Rory is watching this entire situation go down at the butcher. So, like, I hope you're in your feels, Rory, because once again, let me remind you, you, my friend, are sleeping with a married man. This scene was really interesting here because let's break this down. First and foremost, Lorelai is upset with Rory because Rory is having sex with a married man and she's kind of just rebelling against her right now. Lorelai is also upset with Emily because when is she not upset with Emily? Rory is upset with Lorelai because she thinks Lorelai is just impeding on her adulthood and is not letting her do what she wants to do. While all of that, while pretending that nothing is wrong in front of Emily, Emily is recently separated and is planning this solo trip to Europe, and she's still upset with Lorelai because Lorelai put Emily and Richard in the same room before, and like in the same hotel room before actually clarifying that they were separated. They just kept it from them. So God forbid they're in the same room together. But Lorelai did that, so they're having some weird conversation here. Emily has always wanted to have a close relationship with Rory because she feels like that she messed up the relationship with Lorelai, so she's trying to make it up by having a good relationship with Rory. So in this picture right here, you're getting that entire aesthetic in one picture, in one scene. So what ends up happening is that Emily says, I'm going to Europe. It would be great, Rory, if you came along. And Lorelai was like, I think that would be a great idea too. Now, a lot of people in my life are like, oh, that is Lorelai shipping Rory away. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that Rory could have easily said no if she wanted to, but I think it's a I think it's a good idea that Rory is going on this trip. Number one, Emily's recently separated. She always wanted to have a good relationship with Rory. This is a really good thing for those two to go on that vacation together. Number one. Number two, um, Emily is obviously separated, so there's a lot on her plate right now. So let her go, live her best life. My mom is divorced and she's retired and she's living her best life. She goes out and travels the world and she's having so much fun. So Emily should be doing the same exact thing. Rory, let me remind you, is sleeping with a married man. Did you know that? I might have said it once or twice. Rory is sleeping with a married man. I think it's good that she's going to get away for a little bit. I think that's a really good idea. That's just me. Oh boy, Lindsay made the meat exactly how Dean likes it, and she's happy. Now, I want you to comment below. This entire scene is a callback to something that we've seen before in regards to Dean. I'm pretty sure you know the answer if you're an avid Gilmore Girl fan. But if you are, comment below. Let me know exactly what your thoughts are on this entire scene. Because I think that even the way that Lindsay is dressed and the whole aesthetic right now is a callback to a Dean centric episode that we got back in, I guess it was season one, or I think it was season one that we got that. So if you know what I'm talking about, comment below. Let me know if you caught it. Now we're at the airport here. Shout out to Emily who decided to say to the security agent here, "Hey, listen, you can search me if you want. I'm not gonna fight you." Good for you, Emily. She's like, I'm separated, and like I'm gonna make this tongue-in-cheek joke, and then she sure did, and she lived with it, and it made me laugh. And then we get a nice moment between Lorelai and Rory before Rory leaves off for the vacation, and and then Lorelai's like, if you need anything, just call me. And Rory's like, okay, bye, bye. Speaking of, oh, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Oh, you hang up. we have our little high school love romance here between Luke and Lorelai. Luke finally got a cell phone. Now, funny story here, by the way. This is very true. I don't know if this number still works, but do you know the number that Luke gives in in the voicemail message to Lorelai? That number that he gives, that was, at least at the time, I don't know if it is now, that was a real life number that if you called it, you got forwarded over to Luke's real life brother. Scott Patterson is Luke's real name, obviously. Scott Patterson's brother is part of a hospital that was raising funds at the time, and they might still be doing it to this day. I don't know. I didn't call the number. If you have called the number, let me know, and if it still works, right? So they call, if you call the number, somebody will ask for donations to that hospital. So yeah, that is a real life phone number there, which I thought was really, really cool. But that said, what did I think of the episode? Well, that's a very good question. What did I think of the episode? I liked it. I was a fan. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was a really cool episode. I thought it was really cool. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. A lot of people talk about season 5 a lot. They have good things to say. They say it's their favorite season. Season 4 and season 5 are the two seasons that people really, really hype up. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I thought it was a good return back after taking some time off. I thought it was a good time back. With that said, my friends, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you're watching here today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll be the first to see anything that I post on here. Also, if you enjoy just me in general, follow me on all of your favorite social media channels. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My friends, thank you so much for watching. I enjoy you. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much. As always, God bless and good vibes.